Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the Diploma of Leadership and Management and congratulate you for taking that really great step to developing your professional competence in leadership and management. And I know that we've gone through the initial meeting. I would like to give you some tips and techniques and tools that you could use to complete some of the activities in the assessment. So on this video, I'm going to show you a few things that could help you complete assessment 1 review, which is actually found on page 10. So I'm actually on this section at the moment. Now, the big thing here that most of my students ask me for help with would be completing the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats worksheets. So on this assessment, you'll be required to complete one SWOT sheet for your own emotional analysis. You're also going to submit another worksheet as you analyze your communication skills, and then another worksheet for negotiation skills, and another worksheet for meetings. So for you to be able to identify what your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats are for every single category, I think it's important that you know what the skills are, or the skills that are needed to say that you are, to be able to rate or gauge how good you are, how competent you are on each category. So quite a lot of my students have difficulty finding out, okay, so what are we really talking about? What skills do you need to be emotionally intelligent? Or what are, skills to be able to communicate effectively? What skills do I need to be able to negotiate really well? Or what skills do I really need to conduct meetings effectively? So let's go through every single category first, and let's review it. So you know how to actually analyze yourself and reflect on it really well, and complete the form. Now I'll show you the form and what it looks like. You're actually given a link to the SWOT sheet. So all you need to do is click that, which I already have done. Okay, so let's get into the worksheet. So you can find this worksheet in mindtools.com. Now, bear in mind, you actually only have a few attempts for a free trial. So I would suggest that you just open one worksheet and then you download it, save it, and then that's how you actually start using it and filling it up. So you don't have to keep on opening that link, and you won't run out of free trial sessions on the worksheet. So really just open the worksheet once, and then save it. And you can actually, fill in the text. So I'll show you how to do that. So you just go print or save as, right? So save as PDF, save. And obviously you've got your folders. I would suggest to create a folder for your coursework. With me, I pretty much have my own thing. So you can see that I've already saved one in the past. But once you've saved it, what you need to then do is go into it. So you right click and you choose either Google Chrome, which you can. Obviously, it's not going to be a Word document because the origin of it, because we printed it. So it's going to be on a PDF format. So it's going to look like this. And what you need to do is try to fill it up. Obviously, if you don't do anything here, it's not going to allow you to put your text in, right? So what you need to do is click this one on the right, and if you say fill, wait for it, and then you can start typing down your answers. Obviously, when you're done with it, you can then save it. So save one sheet for, make sure you've got a, your base file. So you can then fill it out and save this separately to a different file name. So you still have that blank template, right? So to use for the other categories. So once you're done with that one, you then save it, put it under SWOT, emotional intelligence, or SWOT, communication, or SWOT, negotiation, or SWOT, meetings. Okay, so now on this form, which you are going to submit to me along with the entire workbook when you're done with all the tasks, is you have the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities, and threats. To help you further, it also gives you, some statements or questions that you could ask yourself, and just to help you draw out these answers. As I've mentioned, you need to know what skills are, because you've got emotional intelligence. There are certain skills or competencies that are attached to that to say, I'm actually quite good. I know how to handle my emotions really well. So I'll show you the list of skills. So I took this just out of Googling it, but also at the back of my experience, I've seen and I've completed quite a lot of courses. I chose the material that I think would be most suitable for this activity. So let's have a look at emotions. With emotions, when you're being asked about your strengths and weaknesses, you then look at different aspects of emotions, right? So there is what you call recognition. Okay, so you're able to recognize your own emotions and other people's emotions. Regulation is you're able to control your emotions and possibly influence other people's emotions as well. Now you have personal competence, okay, right there. It's that, it's just an internal thing. So you just use it on yourself to be able to manage yourself. And then emotional intelligence also means that you're able to use that as you join the world, okay? So you've got that. Now, what they've done is they've divided these, they've divided into 4 different sections, okay? Just to be very specific. So you have self-awareness, you have self-management. So you're aware about your emotions or of your emotions, and you know how to manage them. Now, some people are aware of it, but are unable to control their emotions. So that's why it's split into 2, right? So 2 different things, 2 different competencies. And then you've got social awareness. You're aware, you're very, you know how to pick up how people behave and how they feel at certain times. And you're able to recognize these things very easily, and you're able to use that to manage your relationships with them or relate that person's relationship with others. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So if I was to answer my the SWOT sheet, I would then go look into the first one. It says self-awareness, okay, under recognition and personal competence. You then go, am I actually confident? Really, be very honest with that. Possibly in some ways and possibly not in others. So with that answer, you can then go, yeah. So then I will then start putting on the SWOT sheet. I am quite confident in these particular things. And then on the weakness, you're going to say, I need to improve on my confidence for the following scenarios. So you ask yourself a question. Okay, next one is, are you always aware of your emotional state? Question. Okay, now think about it. Think of the most recent time when have you had people tell you, you look stressed, and you actually didn't realize that you look stressed. So that's kind of a red flag to say that you weren't really aware about your own emotional state, that your behavior is showing out, but internally you're not able to recognize it. Okay. So is it a strength of yours? Is it a weakness? Are there parts that you are strong with? Are there parts that you are weak on? So you kind of put that in the template. Next, do you actually, or are you aware of how your own behavior impacts other people? So most recently, have you had someone tell you, oh, do you know that you hurt me? Do you know that you upset me? And you actually didn't know, right? So it's about awareness. Do you really know? Next one is paying attention to how others influence your emotional state. So as they say, there are certain people that really just, bring the best and the worst, So do you recognize this? Do you know how to manage that in yourself? So do you know these people and how they affect you? Okay. Now managing is different. So skip there a little bit. So let's go into the other side, self-management. Are you able to keep your disruptive emotions in check? So, and impulses in check, like, okay, I'm upset, and you just go what you want to do. And do you challenge your feelings, your own feelings? Like, I'm feeling upset. I should be upset. Why am I upset? So you kind of reflect on your own emotions before it becomes quite obvious to the external world, right? So you keep it first, control it. You act in congruence with your values. So what you value is very apparent to what you do. So some people actually have difficulty in doing that because they don't assert themselves enough. So that's an example of self-management, self-awareness, and going down to social awareness. You then ask yourself the question. So you use these statements to guide you. Okay. When you have that answer, you then determine whether it falls into the box of strengths or under weaknesses. And then when you get into opportunities, you then have to think about, look at the weaknesses, and then you go, okay, so I think I actually need to improve on my self-confidence in dealing with conflict. Okay, so that was your weakness. Now, what is your opportunity to improve on that? So you then started thinking that, okay, I might actually get a mentor to show me or give me tips and advice on how to be comfortable in dealing with conflict. So you think of something that you can do to improve on that particular weakness. Now, opportunities also does not only mean focusing on the areas of improvement. Your opportunities are not limited there. You can actually also look into your strengths and say, okay, I have an opportunity. Say, for example, you are very confident in dealing with conflict. Your opportunity there is use that confidence. So use my confidence in managing conflict, okay, by, leading my team and resolving more conflicts within my team effectively. So using that skill to even train others, to deal with conflict. So those are things that pertain to the opportunities box. Okay, so how will you improve on things that you need improvement on, and how can you use your strengths to, to develop yourself even further? Okay, so the threat is all about, if you were not to do anything to improve on your weaknesses, what are the potential consequences to that? So going back to our example about not being confident in managing conflict, okay, what would be the threat if you keep on, if you just not do anything about it? So the consequence there would be that you will end up avoiding conflict, therefore not actually resolving issues, and these issues will just snowball and get bigger and bigger and creating more problems for you. So that's a threat. So it's like, if I don't improve on this, what is the worst thing that could happen to me? And start listing down things. So say if your weakness is you can't seem to hold back your frustration. You have a tendency to really, just release your anger. Sometimes, not all the time, but it can also be all the time, which is a concern. So if that is the case, what's going to happen? So the consequence is you won't be able to maintain relationships. You won't be able to have positive relationships or great connections because of that. You may even lose your job. Okay, so those are the threats. So now I've given you an explanation just based on emotional intelligence and the skills that are needed. So I will also give you some of these things that you could use. How I'll do this is I'll put the link and send this to you by email once once you've watched this video, which I will then share with you. Okay, this video will be shared along with this document attached. So all the links or whatever it is. Okay, so the document itself with this list. So with communication skills, you then ask yourself certain questions like, do I speak effectively? Do I write clearly and concisely? Yes or no? Or maybe midway, do I listen attentively and objectively? So sometimes some of these statements could actually be 2 in 1, so you can split that up and then see whatever suits you, and then start filling out the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And there are many things you can do to improve on your communication skills, like courses. What you're doing now, just enrolling and taking the diploma course, is another opportunity that you've already taken before you've done this activity. So well done to you. And then we have negotiation skills. Okay, so what skills are needed? So you can see there quite a few things have been duplicated, but we're thinking about communicating to negotiate, right? When you say verbal communication in terms of an ordinary conversation or presentation is different from negotiating. So when you say verbal communication, you're able to adjust your tone, your pitch, depending on what's actually happening in the meeting. You're able to assert yourself, not using aggressive language, but assertive language to be able to get your point across, and with listening, you're able to pick up on words and kind of read between the lines, because in negotiation, there are many things that are not said, and it's quite filtered because it is expected that when you try to negotiate on something, you've already done some pre-planning, which is ideal. Now, that is another skill. You cannot be effective. You cannot be an effective negotiator if you don't actually plan your way and look at different strategies, do your research. So you have to do a lot of prep work before you get into a negotiation to expect that to come out at the outcome that you really want. So you kind of go, okay, do I listen to what is said and not being said? Okay. And you're able to also diffuse any aggression that might come out in negotiations. You're able to pick up on things, on communication pieces that might need to be improved on. You're able to use like paraphrasing to check understanding. You're able to summarize things, to check understanding. You know what questions to ask and when. Okay, so that's to reduce misunderstanding between you and the other party. So that's another skill. Rapport building is you're able to build that rapport, not just verbally, but also through body language to create that connection with the other party, right? And then you can solve problems because obviously there are things that are going to come out in negotiation meetings that you may not have expected. So you would then have to solve the problem right there and then so you can come up with another strategy. So that's extremely important. Decision making is, pretty much knowing your boundaries clearly, your values clearly, and then make a decision based on that. Okay, so you know how to do a cost benefit analysis, risk and reward analysis, and make a decision and actually stand by that decision. Be confident about making decisions, as well as the time that you make decisions. I mean, you can make really good decisions, but it could take you ages. But it's also that you're able to make decisions when it's actually really needed, not procrastinating on that. And then you've got assertiveness is, not aggressive, but be able to assert what's important to you, and in a very diplomatic way. Okay, not with anger, but in diplomacy, because we're talking about workplace environment here, professional environment. And then you've got dealing with difficult situations, of course. How do you manage your emotions and emotions of others when times get rough during the negotiation meeting? So that's the negotiation skill piece. And now the meeting discussion skills. I attached a link here, put a link, and you just have to go into it. Basically, because it's a full document, which I wouldn't want to take just one section of it because I know it's going to be very useful for you when you get into the project. In the project, okay, in the assessment workbook, you'll be having series of meetings. You'll be asked to do create an agenda, do your planning. You're going to do your minutes of meetings. So you're going to be able to use this document here as an additional resource to what you already have in the learner guide. Okay, so here I'll just go down to just the skills in particular because that's what we're discussing at the moment. So number one is your listening skills when you do have meetings and discussions, okay? And here, when you read this, it actually explains what's being looked at, okay? What's important. So you've got, and this is even good, listening to others during the meeting. Do you tune out a lot? If yes, then that's a weakness. You listen for ideas? Yes, that's a strength, So that's about listening, but there are also other skills like asking for clarification. Do you do that? Do you know how to do that? Do you also know how to gatekeep? Okay. So gatekeeping is about encouraging equal participation and promoting equality within the discussion, not other people overpowering the others. So people are encouraged to engage and participate. And then, of course, the listening is there, and then you've got, how to summarize. Are you able to manage the meeting that everyone stays on topic? Can you manage the time? Do you start on time? Do you finish on time and be able to cover everything that you've planned? Do you know how to, end the discussion really well at a positive note and with clear actions and commitment from everyone else on what was discussed? Okay. And it doesn't stop there. The skill of being able to communicate your agreements, okay, everyone's group positions, to confirm everyone's understanding is also important. So that's another skill. And your evaluation skills to improve on further meetings or future meetings is also needed. So there, that's it for today. That's it for now. But I will be creating more videos so you could view it. And if you do struggle in certain parts of the assessment, you can just watch the video at the most convenient time. And if you still need more guidance and support from me, as I've said, please don't hesitate. Email me, call me, and we'll set up a time to have a chat. Thank you so much. Hope I didn't take too much of your time, and I hope this video has helped you. Bye-bye for now.